freestyle rap at all?
Not yet.
Doesn't it appear to be extremely coincidental that you guys arrest people right outside of Governor Newsom's press conference? Is this really just a show of power?
Hold on. This always happens. Can you guys hear me? Welcome to Samson's world. I'll do it all over again, where court, comedy, and culture collide. That is right. I'm going to wait for everybody to come into the feed. Appreciating you guys every day live at 5. Samson busting these knobs around. I'm a little bit earlier today because I need to pick up my daughter soon. So this is going to be a short one, but I got a lot to get to you, Patriots. Whoosh, OMGs, let's at the top of this here hour, the diddler. Everybody is writing in letters now. Before we heard letters defending him, why he should be let off, right? Sorry, I have a little burp on the verge. Anyway, so the diddler, now I will be there this Friday at Daniel Patrick Moynihan Court Building, right, where the diddler will be sitting for the last time, and we will hear if he will be sentenced. Now, the government wants him to get the maximum. They want him to get 11 years. Talk to AI Sam. Tell him, baby.
It's this, Justin. The government has asked for 11 years. That is their suggested sentencing for the diddler. For sentencing this Friday, I will be there in Daniel Patrick Moynihan Court Building because I never, ever quit. And I believe
right, I don't.
You should follow things through. If you start it from A, ended at B or Z. Actually, anyway, I'm digressulating. 135 months. God, 135 months doesn't sound as bad as 11 years. You ever notice that when you're like, you have 146 months. You're like, oh, that sounds like a few weeks. No, that's 11 years.
It's a long time.
This is crazy because remember, the diddler is, now just stands charges for prostitution.
Prostitution. Can't say
so this sets a scary precedent if he is able to be put away, because for these charges, there's so many other people who've been charged of this who no one was ever thinking about giving them 11 years. I mean, God, at this point, what is the government doing? It's getting ridiculous because what? Go give him 11 years. He goes, buys a 5 to 10 to $50 million of Trump meme coins, and then he gets a pardon. I don't know. What do you guys?
That's crazy. Thank you, AI Sam. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments. Will the diddler walk or will the diddler talk? I don't know what that means. That means maybe he'll rap. I don't think he will. My prediction, I will be there this Friday, like I said, and my prediction is that that Diddy will get time served and that he will get off. And I think that's why the government is trying to overcompensate. It's like when you see a dude with one of those giant pickup trucks, all the lift kit, the lights underneath, really loud muffler. They're overcompensating for a small ego, if you get what I'm saying. And I think that's what the government is doing. They are overcompensating because they lost. Maureen Comey, Wetu got fired. That's crazy. She's going to come back and sue everybody maybe and get 2-Star Island. Anyway, but my prediction is that the diddler could potentially walk free out of Daniel Patrick Moynihan Court Building this Friday. The judge could say, you're right for the charges, for two charges of prostitution. Why would the same judge deny bail, then give him time served? Pegasus, Adrian, that is a great question over on the Grammy on Instagram. I don't know. I'm just saying, I think there was too much to deny him bail, right? If you were going to deny him bail, he was a flight risk. There's all types of things. And a judge, the last thing a judge wants to do, especially on this high profile of a case, is let the guy go a month prior to sentencing, and then he flees, he goes to Bali or something and gets away or hurts somebody else. So I think that was the judge's main reason for denying the bail. I don't think that necessarily shows how the judge will sentence the didylation. I mean, let's not be idiots here and be fooled. I don't see him getting 11 years. And if you saw, well, you didn't see it, but last week, if you saw my videos, Alexandra Shapiro just murdered the room. She went in there, and basically what she said in summarization, her and Jason Driscoll, Alexandra Shapiro, they are the two that if you need them to cite a Supreme Court case to prove their case, they can do it, okay? The government was asked if they had one example where somebody like Mr. Combs had hired a prostitute, not had sex with that prostitute, went over state lines with them, did not engage, with just sitting in the corner on the Jack Shack, flicking the big boo, doing the Harlem Shuffle in the corner by himself, never engaged with the prostitute. They said, Judge Subramanian said, find me an example. Do you have an example of a case where a guy who did take the person across lines but did not engage, where they were charged with this and sat in jail this long? You know what she said? You know what the government's lawyer said? Miss Slavic, I believe it was. Your Honor, I don't have an example, but I will this week at sentencing. She said no. You have to do your homework, government. You gotta have that example. And that's what people don't understand. I'm not pro Diddy. I am pro lawyers and the American justice system, that if you can afford the best lawyers, they can get you off for pretty much anything. And let's not get your feelings involved. This is the problem with this Diddy case. People are like, oh, he's terrible. He needs to be in jail and rot forever and this and that. Right. But he is only guilty of 2 prostitution charges. We can all agree nobody likes what kind of person we've seen that he is. It's disgusting. Domestic violence. Who out there is going to say that's great? Nobody is. But I saw a judge saying it this morning. If he's on trial for being an asshole, he's guilty. If he's on trial for beating women and being a terrible boyfriend and high on drugs and alcohol and messed up and power, lovesick, drunk on power, all the above, he's guilty. But he's not on trial for that. He is on trial for 2 prostitution charges. So I guarantee you there is lots of men out there, businessmen who are staying at the Sheraton in New York, and they got a prostitute who was undercover. They got caught, and I bet they got out of jail like 2 days later, slap on the wrist. He's been in jail now for 14 months. I think they're going to let him go on time served. I could be wrong, but who knows? Anyway, also in the news, this is, happening in your world. It's your world. Guys, this is something everybody, of course, wants to know about. Kin Panama. Okay, if you don't know about Kin Panama, you've been living under a meteorite. Hold on. And it's not just any prostitution charge. It's the Mann Act, right? It is the Mann Act, but as you just said in the next comment, historically is very racist. It was meant for Black men not to be able to travel across state lines with white women. It's a disgustingly racist, and look, I'm not saying, oh yeah, I think Diddy, like I said, he's been in jail doing his free Diddy game classes. He has other praise, but here's what I wanted to do. I have ADHD. I got a little distracted, but I do want to go and I want to read Cassie Ventura's letter. As I started off saying, we saw all the letters from the prisoners, from Diddy's, Charlucci, his best friend, who we had Charlucci on the show last week. Shout out to him. That was an amazing interview. But now we're going to hear from the other side. This is like the government letting us know, okay, here's the people who don't think he should get out. And Cassie Ventura is one of them. She's saying she's having Diddy nightmares, or they're calling him Diddy mares. But I do hope Cassie is okay. Yeah, I do too. I mean, guys, every time they show, excuse me, that Intercontinental Hotel, I mean, it's disgusting. I mean, I don't know how, anytime like you're in a restaurant and you see a couple arguing, or I see a man. I was at a party in Beverly Hills this Christmas. I was just telling somebody, and this guy is telling his wife, like, shut up, you're ugly, nobody else will take you. Yeah, you're just the most vile things. He was yelling at his wife in front of everybody. And I'm looking at him. He goes, what are you looking at? And I was like, I think it's enough. I think you guys can maybe go, or I think it's enough, and geez, everybody froze, and they kind of pulled me away because this guy was much bigger. He was probably going to squabble up on me. But I just have no patience for men that yell at women. I think it's a disgusting behavior. So that said, let's read what Cassie Ventura wrote in her letter. Dear Judge Subramanian, I have been in a cycle of thought and then overthought writing this letter to you. If there is one thing I have learned from this experience, it is that victims and survivors will never be safe. Although I can hope for justice and accountability, I have come to not trust anything. I hope that your decision considers the truths at hand that the jury failed to see. For 4 days in May, while 9 months pregnant with my son, I testified in front of a packed courtroom about the most traumatic and horrifying chapter in my life. I testified that from age 19, Sean Combs used violence, threats, substances, and control over my career to trap me in over a decade of abuse. He groomed me into performing repeated sex acts with hired male sex workers during a multi-day freak-offs, which occurred nearly weekly. I was forced into lingerie and heels, told exactly how to look, and plied with drugs, I never heard that, and alcohol so he could control me like a puppet. These events were degrading and disgusting, leaving me with infections, illnesses, and days of physical and emotional exhaustion before he demanded it all again. Sex acts became my full-time job, used as the only way to stay in good graces. Good gracious. I testified that I learned to read Sean Combs' signals, knowing that when he spoke of freak-offs, he was demanding them, and that refusing them meant punishment, losing my car, my phone, or worse. He controlled every part of my livelihood and threatened to destroy my reputation by leaking sex tapes, a threat he repeated often. His power over me eroded my independence and sense of self until I felt I had no choice but to submit. When he believed I had wronged him or was not sufficiently responsive, he also threatened people around me and those close to me, including my family. I regularly worried that displeasing him meant putting my family. Where's the rest of it? I'm sorry, guys. That's all I have for the moment. But geez. Yep, I agree. Charlie, protect all victims. Look, guys, I think the hardest part of this whole case for people to understand is these victims should have never been brought forward. And then, yeah, the bravery to come forward and almost this feeling of for what? For nothing. And I think that's the government's fault for bringing, these the RICO, which everybody knew pretty much from the first couple weeks that there was no RICO. I think almost Don Richard testimony and on, I would say, right after Cassie Ventura, the RICO started to fall apart. Kirsten, how are you doing? Howdy, hope you're having a good day. I'm having a great day. Actually, let me take a little minute to woo-saw here. I hope you guys are great. Things have been a little bit weird. I do feel, and I hope you guys are probably feeling this too, there has been some weird energies in the world. There's been a lot of traumatic things happening. There's a lot of weird shifts. There's a lot of real people out there, and there's a lot of fake people out there. These AI humans, man, they're not real, but we're pushing through the darkness. I always say that, you got to push through the darkness. There is always going to be darkness, but just Push through it, because then there'll be light on the other side, right? I saw Theo Von really recently. This just reminds me of this real quick. I'm digressing all over the place. I wanted to send a message of love, light, health, and safety, and happiness out to Theo Von. Let me do this. Because I think Theo has been going through a lot of change. Where is Theo? Hold on, Swiss me's. Well, anyway, Theo Von, everybody's saying he bombed his special the other day. Oh, here we go. And it was very sad, this video of him. Look at this real quick. I don't know what's going on.
Thank you guys. That was pretty good. It wasn't great, but it was okay.
This is after his special, and apparently he just...
I don't know. We're going to have to do one more next week. It's going to be... We'll just take it
He
right
bombed
here,
worse than
right here.
Pete Hegseth.
There you go. Best I can do.
Did you guys see that video of Pete Hegseth bombing?
Oh, I read this, but like a small one. Okay, I got to...
In front of all the generals.
Chill out. You too. Love you.
Thanks, Theo!
Yep.
Thanks for the time.
I like Theo. But it's a lot of these Joe Rogans, a lot of these podcasters who got Trump elected. I think they're starting to have buyer's remorse because they realize they were a big part of it. And, some things don't match up with everything they're doing. Anyway, I'm digressing. Let me show you too. Did you guys see, hold on. Happening in your world. It's your world. I wonder if Puff will get his ass kicked if he does get out. No, he is so protected. He's going to go, if he gets out, Puff is going to go to 1 or 2 Star Island, and you'll never see him until his sold out Madison Square Garden concert. Literally. That's what's going to happen. Anyway, moving on. Did you guys see this? Rory, what's his name? The golfer at the Ryder Cup. Somebody threw a beer at his wife. Does anybody know why? I don't know why they're getting so much hate. This is so nasty of Americans. We're such drunks sometime, man. I hate to say it. Our culture is just, we're sick sometimes. So look at this. Some dude, oh yeah, man, party, yeah, Rory. And some dude, look at it. The beer comes out of the dude's hand. There it is. And he hits his wife in the head with a beer, y'all. Like, what are we doing? I mean, does anybody know why that happened? I have no clue. Yep. Diddy, what'd you say? Diddy was bringing a certain narrative. Only them are willing to adopt. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens to Diddler, guys. It will happen like all of our lives. It will be revealed. But here is what the team and Rory had to say after.
Come out yesterday of a beer being thrown at your wife.
Because Rory says, I will never play in the United States again. He's bad bunnying. Do you guys see what's happening? We're getting bad bunnied all over the place. We're getting Munson, okay? America needs to wake the F up. We need to get back to loving our Constitution, right? Separation of church and state. Do unto others you want unto yourself. Pretty simple stuff. We need to get back to it, guys. We're getting Munsoned. America, okay? America is being Munsoned out in the middle of nowhere. And if you don't know what that means, go watch the movie Kingpin. It's amazing.
It should be off limits, but obviously it wasn't this week. But Eric is fine.
Yeah, but Kirsten, why are people throwing a beer at him? Why do people not like him? I don't know the backstory on that. That's what I'm asking, if anybody knows.
And she is a very, very strong woman, and she handled everything this week with class and poise and dignity, like she always has. And
always has.
I love her, and we're going to have a good time celebrating tonight.
Can I just pick up on that?
Bang away. He said, wait, what?
You don't mind, because I actually had no idea that Erica had a beer thrown at her yesterday.
So
fair play to Erica. She didn't bring that to the team room. We didn't make that a big deal.
Good.
That's news to me, that says a lot about
I would have gone and jumped
the
the guy
strength
who
of
did that to
Erica
my
and
wife.
everybody in this team today.
I was out there.
Just so you guys know, if somebody did that to my wife, I would go jump the guy. I've done that before. I used to play co-ed soccer with my wife, And this dude on the soccer field, he's kind of getting rough with everybody, tripping women, not cool. Picked up my wife and was trying to throw her. And I lost my stuff, ran over, knocked him down. I'm a wrestler, 5th in state in Missouri, my senior year. I put this guy down on the ground, put my elbow literally into the back of his head. I said, what kind of man hits a woman? What kind of man hits a woman? And I'm like yelling at the top of my lungs. We both got kicked out of the league that day, but I got reinstated after I told him I kicked the guy's ass because he tried to throw my wife down. Anyway, back to Rory.
I was out there for
So
2 days
I
with
didn't know
Erica
that
McElroy, and the amount of abuse that she received was astonishing. And the way she was out there supporting her husband and supporting her team was unbelievable, and kudos to her for that.
Go on, Erica.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to. On Erica. On Erica. I love the Irish. On Erica. Not all of you guys on Erica, because I don't think Roy would like that. But I digress. Guys, this is Bad Bunny. Hold on. Happening in your world. It's your world. Anyway, what kind of man hits a woman? A boy. Exactly. I personally think this is kind of it's going to be a weird take, or, controversial. I think prostitution should be illegal in all 50 states because you have these little boys who they have all this sexual pent-up energy and they never got to be with a woman. They never learned how to court a woman. And, they're just, some people just do not have game. They don't have the riz, ladies, and they never will. And I think if we made it legal, they could be taught. Same with, women needing to, and men. It's letting it heals. You know what I mean? Look, I will tell you a fact. There was a scientific study that said people who have sex 3 or more times a week live a decade longer, right? Let me say that again. If you have sex 3 to 4 times a week, you will live a decade longer. That's how good it is for you. That's the Lord right there. Everybody wants to know, how do I touch the Lord? My wife is always like, Sam, right. Yeah, you want to touch the Lord. I want to touch the Lord again, honey. No, literally, it's when you don't need drugs, you don't need alcohol, you don't need anything. You're both, if a man knows what he's doing. The problem is most men do not know what they're doing. Am I right, ladies? I feel bad. Most men have no clue what they're doing. There should be a legal type of prostitution, like how brawls work. But yeah, what I'm saying here, guys, is every bar fight starts because guys get wasted, blacked out drunk, and they failed with trying to get a woman. Sometimes we just need a little handshake, a little pat on the shoulder, a little, something. It's not, just a kiss, anything. But if we don't get it, what do? Bar fight, let's go. It is, I always say it's fuck or fight. And most men end up fighting. You know what I mean? Thank you, Kirsten. Appreciate you guys. Every start fights with an opinion. Yep, an asshole guy. And I always say this. We always talk so bad about cannabis and all that stuff. And it's like, how many bar fights started from dudes getting in a cipher and doing some Cocoa Puffs? Not Cocoa Puffs. That's when you lace the shit, but just doing some straight up, slappy, pappy, happy, tobacco. How many bar fights start off weed? 0. Okay. When you're drunk, you want to fuck or fight. And most times it ends up in a fight. Anyway, listen to this. Bad Bunny. Everybody is so pissed off, guys. Why? Why is everybody so mad about Bad Bunny? They're like, I can't understand him. When can you ever understand an artist on there? Don't let him do. Walk away. I'm gonna send somebody easily into the break of day. I'm gonna be so big to walk away. I'm sexy and I know. Like Justin Timberlake. Everybody said they couldn't understand Kendrick Lamar. They're all like the same people. All right, all these same people who don't like freaking Bad Bunny. Why are we letting an illegal do our Super Bowl? Why are we letting an illegal do our Super Bowl? Puerto Rico's an American. He's American, guys. Even I know that. Oh my MGs, they're so mad about this guy. They're so mad. Everybody said, yeah, I can't even understand what Kendrick Lamar is saying. Okay, he's speaking English, right? That is because your processing power is slow. See, people think if you can freestyle rap, if you can rap, that is being able to speak words like Twister, like I could make you a celebrity overnight. See right. This if you can do that, that means you are highly intelligent. When people tell me they can't understand what somebody's saying because they're talking too fast, because you have a processing problem. You know, like my computer right here. This computer is processing all of this live feed right now. Your brain would not be able to process this. That's all it's saying, guys. Okay, hold on. What do you got here, Kirsten? I've been smoking forever, 5 years. I'm 22, and it's never changed my narrative. Alcohol did. I'm addicted currently, and it makes you black out. These people are blackout drunk on emotions. Very true. I've never once blacked out. Never in my life. I can say that. I did get roofied once when I was in high school by a girl, but that's a different story totally. Okay, Sam, keep it on here. Bad Bunny. Here's AI Sam.
Oh my
with the
God,
story.
this Bad Bunny stuff is so hilarious. It has everybody so big mad. They could be like, he doesn't speak English. I can't understand any of his songs. This is America. You guys said the same thing about Kendrick Lamar last year.
I just said that.
You said, I can't understand a word he's saying.
Yep, thanks,
So,
AI Sam.
regardless if the artist is American, which he is American, Bad Bunny. Did you guys not know that? Puerto Rico? Okay. Just some people might not know that. But I love this. I think it's amazing. They complain about Kendrick Lamar, said they couldn't understand, but it doesn't matter if they speak English or not. You guys are going to complain about it anyway. And there's nothing more American than Bad Bunny. He's international. And I got to tell you, for all these people out there who clearly have never been invited to a carne asada,
Tell them,
you
Sam.
know, who clearly have never had some El Pastor tacos, who clearly have never had that elote, that crazy corn.
Oh, it's crazy.
I feel bad for you. Because that's what's beautiful about America is all our different cultures. Like, what, you really want to just go sit around a cheeseburger and chili dog all day and a Coca-Cola? No. I want to sit in with some mango and some lime and some tahini spread upon my fruit. I never even thought to spice up fruit. Thank God for Latinos for teaching us white people about spices. What are we doing here? Clearly, none of you guys have ever done it.
Come on, Sam.
That's what we're going to be doing at the Super Bowl, and I am laughing my head off, okay? Go to a backyard barbecue, get in.
That's right. Get invited, guys. Get out there into the world. Good Lord of Fines. Guys, this has been a great show. I do have to go pick up my daughter here. Daddy duty. That's, one thing I do, along with being a comedian, stand-up comedian, producer, TikTok star, musician. I'm a dad. And I have to drop my kids off at school in the morning. One in elementary, one in middle school, one in high school. That's right. And all three doggies. I'm what the ladies call a zaddy. Hey, zaddy. Sorry I didn't shave today too, guys. I like to look young. This kind of is revealing. I don't know what you guys think about that. Daddy duty. It's okay to be human. It's better than American. Haha. That is very true. So, yep, guys, I'm a real dad. I'm a real person. And I really love you guys. I really have loved doing this show for you guys. I do it every day, live at 5. Like I said, I will be back at the Diddy Dome this Friday. I will be going live after that with probably some pretty big influencers. 3i Atlas is coming very close soon, guys. That's another thing going on. Just checking any last minute stories here. Ken, my huge interview, please go watch that here on YouTube. It's amazing. I am talking about shooting a documentary with him now. I'm very excited about that. So lots of things on the burner that are going to be happening. Wishing all you guys love, light, health, happiness, financial wealth, financial safety, and laughter. Does anybody remember laughter? I mean, like, please. Led Zeppelin. Anyway, I love you guys. This has been a great show. I will be back tomorrow. And then, like I said, Thursday, I'm going to have to figure out because I land in New York. So I'll probably have to do an early show that day. But Friday, I will be at the Diddy Dome. And we will finally find out if Diddy does get sentenced. Will it be 11 years? Will it be no years? I don't know. Will it be some laughter? Will it be some tears? I will be there, guys. And I seriously love you guys. Yes, thank you so much, Kirsten. I really appreciate your support, guys. Honestly, I could not do it without you guys. I'd just be talking to a bunch of cameras. So let's build this show to the biggest show. I want to be bigger than all the talk shows since they're getting rid of them anyway. Let's make me your new late night host. Look at this. I'm doing it all myself. Anyway, I love you guys. I hope you have a lovely Taco Tuesday. Taco Tuesday on behalf of Bad Bunny. Secret Service Sam out, Samson for president of the.
Can you freestyle rap at all?
Not yet.
Doesn't it appear to be extremely coincidental that you guys arrest people right outside of Governor Newsom's press conference? Is this really just a show of power?